Alright, homies. Second game of the World Championship. We got some G2 up in this one. Coming in hot. With quite a juicy draft. I took a little peek, and right off the bat, you can see that they are banning Jana Lulu. They want to put Mithy on that comfort. And I love it, because the more you continue down the line, the more it makes sense, They are willing to drop those supports because they want to play Ivan. They're expecting most teams to pick Gragas here because Gragas on paper is the best jungler, right? Maybe some people could argue that Rexa is the better one, or Jarvan, sure. All those haters, sure, doesn't matter. Ivan does fine into most tank matchups, right? It's also one of those boring people that can buy an Ardent Sensor. Combine an Ardent Sensor, you can compensate for the lack of Ardent Sensor on your support, and you get yourself a juicy situation, right? Then you get that Alistar, which is a pretty decent blind, but can be countered by Janna, Lulu, Morgana, and some other stuff. So it's not like a super insane draft. There's just a clear thought process here, right? There's an Ivan, there's an Alistar, can't buy a sensor, yada yada yada. Next thing is, on the other hand side, we got Samsung with the classic Varus. Ruler on Varus is a thing of art, I would say. Thing of art. I think Varus as a champion didn't get any nerfs. Something that whenever I see Varus, I think, wow, why don't people play this more often? I think we saw it in the LPL final. I think Uzi played it. I think we saw it against Fnatic when they lost that game against Young Generation. When Varus shows up, I feel like he does very, very well. And in the current meta, it's all about, it's all about these ardent things, scaling, etc. I think, Varus can punish some ADs early on in the game, and I don't think necessarily Varus is a champion that falls off rather hard. He doesn't fall off at all, I would say. Sure, he gets outscaled by maybe Xayah, Tristana, but it isn't by a wide margin. That's what I'm trying to say. Next thing that comes up is the Taric. Taric as a champion can abuse that Ardent Sensor, can do it very well, can apply it on so many people. So Taric as a champion scales very, very well. His ultimate is also very, very powerful, but it depends on what team you're against, right? Necessarily, like playing Taric against this team isn't super interesting. It's not, oh, I'm going to ult that Corky Rocket. It's not necessarily like a super big payout. So the main thing here for Taric will be to apply Ardent Sensor to a lot of people. Sejuani was also banned. Rakan was also banned. Alright, I think Rakan ban is fine to do if you want to leave Xayah and not pick it. Like picking away Rakan in a lot of cases, picking it blind is not the greatest thing. Surprised that we also didn't see Tristana, but it seems like people have some picks into the Tristana. Like the Kog'Maw worked out in the last game, and I think Xayah is very well rounded. She doesn't necessarily have like a weak lane phase. At BF, she can one-shot waves. She's very consistent throughout the game, I would say. We'll continue further down the line. Let's see what prompts this Corky pick. We got Ryze, Syndra, Kassadin, LeBlanc, bam. Okay. Cho'Gath is the blind pick to do. They don't necessarily need to blind mid lane here. I'm surprised that Cho'Gath just keeps going through ban phases, because sure, we had that Nar thing going on against Cho'Gath for quite some time. It worked over here in Europe, but I think that in Europe we just had some really bad Cho'Gath players. We had some bad Cho'Gath players. They didn't know how to be patient. You have to be patient with this champion and just push your lane and be happy, And this didn't necessarily happen a lot of times. Cho'Gath was looking very whimsical because he was trying to aim for Q on a target that has 800 range, and then he just got caught and got chunked, and he just looked stupid, But in other regions, Cho'Gath is so powerful, because he can do these things. He has a lot of CC in his kit, and if you are patient enough, then you get a massive reward. And on top of that early lane phase, he doesn't necessarily get counted by anything. Like, sure, you could say that, oh, Fiora is good, or Jax is good, and Jace can do good. Sure. But these champions are like for the lane, and even these lanes aren't necessarily that horrible for Cho'Gath. Maybe Jace's, and even then it's like not a big deal. Surprised that Cho'Gath always goes through. Rise and Syndra ban though. Is Syndra ban necessary if you're going to plan to pick Corki? I'm not too sure. I would say it isn't. Shen is also picked up. Shen as a counter to Cho'Gath, I guess it's okay. It's okay. But how are they really going to use Shen Ultimate in this game? Shen Ultimate is going to be really non-exciting in this match. Like Ivan is going to Q someone and hop in. I think Shen is really not exciting. I think if they pick Gnar here or something that can do well in a split push, then it makes more sense because they are lacking engage, force the enemy team to engage, and you can play like the split push game and the poking game and like the stalling game, Corki of course makes sense because you got that Ardent thing going on for yourself, and Corki Ivan can actually play through mid because Corki can kind of slow roll a lot of mid lane waves, and I think Ivan does well with that to get mid priority at least. But I don't know. Corki package and Shen Ultimate is the combination we have to look out for. I think something that is stronger in split push would make more sense. Alright, final pick Talia. Love me some Talia, especially Crown Talia. Talia does fine into Corki. Early on, she will have push priority. It's Samsung has a very strong early game team, and we just have to see how much G2 can hold back and hold off, and wait for those Corki power spikes. That is the main thing. Ninja Tabi is fantastic for Samsung to buy, and I'm kind of worried because G2 have to wait so long in order to be effective. They have some timings they can work with and regain pressure. It's the Corki package, Shen Ultimate combination. Maybe they can create something off of that, and maybe they can equalize the pressure. But early on, I think this game might be quite a hard one. I think what G2 want to look for is maybe they want to cut the map in half with the Ivan, maybe do some cheesy invades where they steal a buff from Gragas. I think that's definitely possible because Gragas is not the fastest jungler, right? Compared to the junglers that people played back when Ivan was meta. It was all about them, assassin junglers that clear jungle fast, Rengar and whatever you call it, And Gragas is still, compared to those junglers, a rather slow jungler. So maybe Ivan can create something early on where he denies some things, but it's hard to do against Talia mid. She pushes the wave really fast, and it's hard to imagine a scenario where Trick is going to steal things from Ambition in a game like this. So let's just get to it. Let's just see what happens in this one. I think G2 need to stall out for maybe 25-30 minutes until they reach their spikes. They have some things to play with, maybe the Corki package, the Shen Ultimate, maybe they create something out of this. Samsung on the other hand side, they are very strong in the early game. They should have priority in every lane, like legit every lane. Maybe not top lane in the beginning, but they should have priority in every lane for a long period in the game, and then they need to use this to create something, and I have full faith that they will. My other worry is Samsung stylistically are very smart decision making wise in the late game. I would say they're smarter than G2, and that can be a big issue. Let's continue. Let's get ready to rumble. No rumble in this game. We got some Tarek, Cho'Gath, Shen action. I didn't refill my water, but that is my mistake. I'm going to commit completely. We got the coach handshake. We got the summoner's cup. Holy moly, this arena, this venue looks juicy. Loving what I see, man. I wish I could be there. Is the thing lagging? But when I see myself buffering, man, I cannot believe it. All right. It's all good. It's all good. G2 running in. Go for some juicy invades. We have barrier heal on bot lane. Heal on the support once again. G2 flash for flash. I think it's a decent flash for flash. It limits the ability for Trick to do some crazy invades, but it's not too terrible, Question is, can they pull off a gank on Talia? I doubt it. You know, it's all about that Ivan Q hitting, and it's hard for me to see a situation where that happens. Maybe it does, who knows. Kuve plays a very, very good ward, gives us information on what's happening. G2 didn't really get any equalizing ward, like they didn't really get any ward off of that, they just burned flash for flash. So the trade-off is better for Samsung because they know exactly where Ivan starts, and knowing where Ivan starts means so much. And maybe the play would have been better if they G2 just tried to deny an invade instead, to make sure that they don't know where Ivan starts. Ivan is warded off here. Smite. He tagged his wolves, tagged his Gromp, smited the big blue buddy. Let's see where he goes next. Gragas doing a standard clear, no Gromp. Going into top side, gonna do Raptors red, no fear. They saw that Ivan smited, you know, so if Ivan's not gonna do any invades, cheeky invades here when he uses his smite. I'm assuming the plan here for Trick is to pick up his camps top side and then go pick these up and then smite the golems, and then he'll be fine and dandy. Perks is running the teleport. A lot of G2 fans out there. I think Samsung here is definitely favored, but with more than just 1 percentile here, or maybe I guess it's 2 if they gain 1 and G2 lose 1. The disparity is 2. Ambition doing full clear. No fear of Trick doing some nasty tricks. Can they do something with the lack of flash for Talia? I was pretty sure that Talia would like push in and place a deep ward on the Raptor, but she didn't do that. After what Ivan does, his path becomes pretty predictable. You know, if they see him smiting here, it's obvious that he's going to tag, and then go here, tag, pick up, and then I need to remind myself to download Epic Pen, because I'm saying here, and I'm just using my Microsoft mouse pointer, you know, and I'm sure it might be confusing at times. I'm gonna download Epic Pen. Okay, we continue. So far so good. The less things that happen for G2, the better. Samsung maybe, the shield and expect. Might see a flash here from Kuve. He needs to flash the Trick Q from Trick. Oh, this might be a kill right here if Trick just uses his Q, man. Oh, no. Ooh, no. Trick, where is your Q, buddy? You used your Q, buddy? Where's your Q, man? Use your Q, dude. Bro. Look. Perfect situation. Boom, he flashed. Do it again. Just Q right here, man. And it's a kill. But you just refuse to Q. No confidence. That was a kill, man. That was a good gank from Trick, but that was a kill. But this Q, very disappointing. Very good patience, you know, wait for the flash, because he had to flash, and then you just Q, you know, you just Q and you get the kill and you get the good stuff. And now Ambition, you got full information bot side, full deep wards, you know, and he also got to clear his jungle at the same time, you know. It's not a juicy situation, you know, it's not good stuff here. Perks is looking for the punish, you know, he knows he can just TP back, he knows that Crown wants to base here with this wave, and Perks is playing very aggressively because he knows he has a TP, right? There's no fear for him here for anything to go wrong. Relic shield on Tarek and on his buddy Varus. A lot of love. Kuve is out and about once again. Is this a regular split Kuve we're seeing here? Dying to them ganks? Let's take a look here again. Let's see the situation he has to work with. Alright, so he has full vision bot side. What will Ivan do? Who knows? Maybe he'll go top side. Yeah, seems like he's going top side. Not happy with this Kuve. Not happy. At least he's redeeming for Trick, right? He gets the kill that he should have had from before. Good stuff. Main thing about these matchups is, sure, it matters for the matchup, but it isn't that shifting, you know. Kuve dying, and he shouldn't have died, you know, first gank. You could argue that it's fine, right? Because Trick has time. Like, when he bases the first time after his full first clear, then he has his timer to work with where the enemy team won't have any information. But the main thing then, what I want Samsung to do is just to use the fact that they can get priority through mid and then just place one ward somewhere deep enough to know like even Ivan's there or Ivan is on the other side. But it's a very good timing gank here from Trick, but of course this was the one that was heavily misplayed. Okay. Okay. So Ivan still didn't show up in his bot side jungle, and now everything is getting stolen away by Ambition. Perk still didn't use his TP, go back to lane with a clean base. This might be a good time to use that TP. Could get him some tempo in the lane, because the minion wave is dead, so it looks like a great situation here to base and abuse the TP that you have. Oh, he's not gonna do it. Oh, taking the fruit also works. Taking the fruit definitely also works. Perks is playing this well so far. At this point, they can start coordinating with the Shen ultimate. Maybe Corki just wants to base at the point where he has Corki package. I'm kind of hoping that G2 use their Corki package and the Shen ultimate to secure a dragon, get some bot lane priority, and then secure a dragon. Right now, Tarek has a lot of money. He has a lot of money because of the relic shield, right? And this is going to be an advantage in bot lane. No side stone though, so Alistar has that advantage that he can just place more wards, right? Alistar based first, so he's the first man in mid lane. He's a bit ahead on tempo here. Corki is gonna go pick up the blue buff. Still, right now we got 8-minute mark. You know, Corki package is going to come online. Trick with the smite. Ooh, that's the pain of playing against Ivan, I guess. The main thing here is I think Talia based. Talia didn't base. No, she didn't. Oh wait, did she base? I want to take a step back further. No, she just didn't base. Perks is just hard pushing. He's just hard pushing this and showing no fear or no regret. The next exciting thing is what will our dear friends in G2 make of our package Bonanza. Main thing is Samsung didn't really accomplish much in the early game, and Trick managed to get the kill up top and some pressure up top. The red buff for the Shen is very, very juicy, so I'm liking what I see so far from G2. Samsung now, like, what is the play they can commit on? They get priority through bottom. Bottom didn't base yet. Varo seems to be the first one in line to base. Looks like a BF. Oh, I guess he can just go for the Warlords. I mean, oh, he's going for Ginsu. He's going for Ginsu's Rage Blade. So this is something I haven't seen before, so I can't say that I can judge it with all honesty. But now something is happening that I don't like. You know, Xayah, like we pick up the package when Xayah is coming out of base. Maybe, just maybe we can do something with it, but we're losing a lot of valuable Corki package time here because Alistar's going into base, Xayah's going into base. We're using Corki package to get back into lane pretty much. I'm not too happy with that. I think if they try to set up a situation where they base at similar times and they just walk out of base and they gain priority and clear all this vision with the Corki package, it would have been a juicy situation. I think this was a massive pressure point wasted from G2. 2 red buffs now on, or 3 even. I would have been pissed. Very, very greedy play from Perks. Very greedy play. Finally, now he's going to get to use his wonderful TP. Now, the moment Samsung get like some kind of pressure to use, you know, they chunked the Corki, all of a sudden it means boom, Drake. Sure, it matters that they have push priority in bot lane, right? It matters too, but they are very quick at doing this very coordinated and together. Infernal Drake to Samsung means so much. Infernal Drake is OP, as all you know. Shen ultimate is still out and about. Corki still didn't use his TP to get back in the lane. What is he saving this TP for? I'm assuming he's saving the TP to counter the Talia play that he expects to come. As long as he keeps his TP, right, then he can always respond to the Talia play without taking any risks. So that is also like a thought process to have in mind, right? Losing a couple of CS is not that terrible to have this kind of safety in your hands. We had the Infernal Drake for Samsung, but inactivity here for Samsung is positive for G2, definitely. Close. Joke. Okay. Wow, Sven. Meti, no. No. Okay. So good chunk from Perks, where he chunked Crown. I'm loving the play now from Ivan. Ivan should just be like a shielding bot for Corki and support the trades that Corki wants to commit to. Because right now, like, I doubt that someone is going to die in mid lane. It's hard to kill someone in mid lane. You know, if maybe if Gragas gets like a good combo onto the Corki or the Ivan and they just get one shot. But if Ivan is like playing back with Corki and shielding Corki and they're just playing to push the wave and trading with Talia, then I think the situation is good for G2 and they can get like the vision around the mid lane. Oh, bot lane's all in. Wow. Crazy. Now the ultimate comes down. Let's see what happens. Trick is coming in. Flash on Varos. Flash is up. Shen ultimate is coming in. 2 flashes. Didn't need to use we didn't need to use the Shen ultimate right there. It was too preemptive here. Too preemptive. You know, like right now the ultimate comes down. They have the summoners. Ivan was enough to force the summoners right here. We could have played this chill game right here and it would have been fine. Maybe Tarak would have saved this flash, but I think saving a flash, burning Tarak flash for possibly 3 top waves and possibly even your turret if this play is extended long enough. Corki has TP. Corki has no package. He's coming into mid lane. Talia's first here. Corki, this is the moment he saved his TP for. Let's see what happens. No, only killing Ivan things. Oh, Sven has flash. Okay. Respectable. Not something that you want to TP for, right? But top lane tower did suffer some damage. Shen used TP there, so Samsung have this timing where Cho'Gath has a TP advantage. Maybe he just straight up TPs here into the bot lane. Oh, rooted, ruler. Ooh, Sven. G2. Felt like that was a bit uncoordinated there. Samsung, like Kuve used his feast on what looks to be the golems, possibly. Yeah, he used feast on golems. So right now, you know, the main thing here is Samsung have a situation where they have TP advantage and they have low enemies with no Alistar ultimate under the turret. It looked like they would be committing to a play here where if Kuve was more coordinated with his team here, that they could have definitely punished. Like imagine Kuve is ready now with his feast and he's just TPing straight up here. Ruler doesn't get chunked out the way he does, you know, he kind of walks up too far and gets feathered and tethered. Then the situation would have been juicy. I'm looking at this and Talia is in mid lane, right, and Corki is in vision. It means that Talia could potentially just cancel Corki or just follow Corki and poke him and do something in this fashion, right? But Ruler gets chunked out, and it's a good responsive play from G2 here. I just want us to imagine the possibilities of what both teams could do here. So Shen ultimate was not the greatest from expect. It's very important though here, the Xayah kill on bot lane. I love what I see from Sven and Meti so far in the bot lane. They show no remorse, no fear in a bot lane that I would argue that they are a bit weaker in the early stage. But now when Xayah reaches BF, I think it's... What the hell was that? What the... Cam tours. Well, he just wanted to show us the inhib. Oh, this is wild. Wait, what did Perks TP to now? So now he TP to lane. Now he TP to lane. Okay. So you saved the TP for this entire time and now you TP to lane? I guess it's a fine time to do it, you know, but maybe you should have gained full health before you did that. He comes back to lane, he gets chunked out by Crown. He has one more potion than Crown though. Let's see how much it matters. Blue buff for Perks. Trick. What are you doing up there? Lane swap with the Essence Reaver up top. Let's take a look back. I didn't notice it in good time, so I want to see if it's good timing for them. Oh, they're just using the tempo from Varus's death to walk into top lane. Very good play from G2. Means most likely they'll get first tower. Varus will be behind on tempo on bottom. I like this play. Core JJ stayed for a long time, right? So G2 committing completely into top side means that they will outnumber even if Varus goes top. This is the moment where they see Varus. Varus is hitting the wave. Tempo-wise, I guess Samsung has one wave more here. Kuve managed to kill the wave. Right now, Varus has a wave to work with to hit the tower. Oh, he's just basing. He's basing. The wave will slow push. I think this wave will slow push towards Samsung. Let's see now if Samsung can be in time for top lane. I think it's going to be quite close. It's going to be quite close, and then the question is if G2 are going to overstay. No, it's not even going to be close. They are not confident enough to hit the turret. You know, to be fair, they can't really dive the Cho'Gath and Gragas. Like, they could, but they don't have enough time to kill them before Varus and Taric shows up, right? So it's a massive risk, and Cho'Gath and Gragas could just clear the wave. So, respectable play, for sure. And the main thing is, right, if they are afraid of enemy team coming and they dive and they can't kill Cho'Gath and Gragas in time, they're just gonna automatically lose the game. So it's a good play. I was talking about how they can hit the turret, but I was wrong, for sure. Shen ultimate still hasn't done any work. It's hard for me to know exactly when Corki package is used or whatever. I'm trying to pay attention to it. We have the reverse matchups. Rageblade finished on Varus. I'm excited to see this. I've seen it a couple of times, you know, on some builds with the Blade of Ruin King, but I've never seen Ginsu's Rageblade first. So I'm genuinely interested in how good this is. Maybe I'll ask some of the ADs that I know, and I will find out later eventually. Red buff double siege. A lot of bushes being placed. You know, the problem with placing bushes to siege with is that you will become enemy Ivan afterwards. Perks looking solid on the Corki mechanics. He's been handling himself fine here against Crown. Crown hasn't had the best split of his life, and neither has Kuve. And you know, as a team, Samsung didn't look super strong, the same like last year. I remember still though that they did have some wins against SK Telecom, a weak SK Telecom, but still, you know, it's still a Korean team, you know, a Korean powerhouse. I would say the worst out of the Korean teams though, for sure. Alright, so let's reassess the situation here. Talia has ultimate. Cho'Gath is pushing in bottom. Shen has ultimate. Top side, matchup wise, I would say they are close to even. I think the team that commits is at a disadvantage, like always, right? So this game right now can go either way for sure. Can go either way. Corki coming out of base with Trinity Force is massive. Talia needs to base most likely. So right now G2 have priority. They have tempo. They have every advantage that you can hope for. If they play this correctly and Ivan plays with Corki right now, then maybe G2 could get some deeper vision right now, or maybe potentially like a Rift Herald even. Yeah, I think this base that Crown did was very telegraphed, and the fact that Perks got to base first means so much here. Core JJ, no flash. Not enough feathers to root Core JJ here. Oh, that's a nasty package. Oh, uncoordinated here with the Shen ultimate. We wasted the W here of Corki. Oh, massive damage. Crown now. Good flash from Perks. Oh, the tanks are doing work here. Alright, so we got 2 for 3, 2 for 3. Might be more. Cuvée is still running around. Crown will reach this. Expect should die. Better outcome for Samsung. A lot better outcome for Samsung. Alistar even died here in the end. Cuvée has Feast. Is this bugged? Because Cuvée has Feast. Alright, so let's take a step back. So, main problem here for me is the fight is very split, you know. Fight is very split, and at this point it's very hard to kill tanks. It's very hard to kill tanks. Expect doesn't have much armor though. To be fair, Varus has a lot of magic damage right now too. Question is if it was a mistake. You know, he Valkyried outright. If he was closer to his team right here, then this would have been a better situation. Here, G2 is committing. Varus ultimate ambition gets in there. Right now, maybe they should just been walking upward here. But if they did that, then these two would have been pretty screwed. Is committing like this just bad? I don't know. I feel like if they were on the same page here, like they're walking up, right, to hit the rift. They're walking up to hit the rift. And I don't know if we have some flash pulverizers here going, or maybe like just the package straight up here to force the Varus flash. I think it would have been a better situation. This was a bit enthusiastic. I think this would be better if his team was further, like committed even further. But they aren't in this case, and you could argue that if they went further, then Samsung would have been further away, and it would have been like not the same situation, sure. I don't know, I'm thinking if you just straight up package here, you know, I'm pointing at my screen, I'm doing this thing at my screen, and I'm thinking, you know, that you guys see it, but, you know, I'm thinking if he just ults straight up here, he's closer to his team, and he's still grouped, you know, he ults straight past here, boom. And then Alistar just burns the summoner to connect, and then maybe it's a better situation. Because this is, like, even though he cuts them off, they can just walk through it because of the Taric ultimate, and they don't have to care too much. Question is also if G2 did the mistake of just not committing all the way here, but maybe they would have been slaughtered there too. Like if they commit in this play here, like right now, they commit all the way. You know, if everyone here just commits all the way right here, like with the flash pulverize and they fight in this direction, then there would have been a better. Yeah, it has to be the better play. Yeah. I think in a situation where they just committed here, they just went forward, but the Varus ultimate is big. The Varus ultimate is big, so maybe they would have been just straight up fucked here. Like Alistar can get out of it, Xayah can get out of it, so maybe it's not too terrible. Yeah, I'm thinking the play where they just commit here on Samsung bot lane is a better situation. I like that a lot more. Because right now they're fighting a fight they cannot win. They don't have enough damage to kill Gragas and Cho'Gath. I don't even know if they have enough damage to kill them together, because you know this is a composition that needs to get a lot of items before they can kill tanks, for sure. So that's the second question, right? Is this a fight that you should have taken in the first place? Should they have just been hitting Rift Herald here? Right now, if they just hit Rift Herald, they have a great position where Talia is here. They are cut off. Gragas is over here. They could just do Rift right now, right? And then in a case where Samsung walked too far, then they could have been committing on them, and it might have been a better situation. All right. So the conclusion is for me that they should have committed here, or they should have just kept doing Rift Herald. All right. Samsung go 3 for 4. And they also get to push afterwards, right? This is also something that is important. You know, they get to push the waves. They get to come out on the map with priority after this. If Samsung also gets the mid tower here, it's really, really massive. But I don't think he has enough time to do it. Perks dropping the TP. I guess without the TP, he would have gotten it. You know, that's also really disappointing, you know, when Alistar combos the Taric and you don't Ivan Q in time. You know, it's very obvious which direction he will land in, and queuing him with Ivan in time is something that every player at World should be able to do, you know. Because maybe that would have been a big difference here, where Taric would have taken more damage and would have potentially just died, you know. If that root lands from Ivern and Zayak and root afterwards, then that is a massive deal. Alright, to be honest, Rift Herald taken. Very, very close, right? Baron could have spawned. It was very, very narrow. Damage in the last team fight. Is Taric broken or what? Taric actually does a lot of damage if he can actually hit something. No ult on Varus, they ulted before. I want to take a step back here. Turret very low, commitment on top. Rift Herald trade for this tower, is that what we're looking at? Rageblade actually does so much damage to tanks. It does so much, because you can actually stack the thing. So we have Rift Herald, bottom tower survives. Wait. I forgot that we didn't even take a first tower yet. Right now the both towers are standing, and Varus and Taric just went straight bottom to get the first tower. So that's what happened. Alright, they got first tower. Very important to remember. Or very important to notice. It's not about remembering. I didn't notice before. I thought the towers were down since earlier. Okay. So the turret up top is low. Something that they can pick up eventually, right? Like if they play through mid and rotate into top, then that's eventually going to fall. Mid lane turret fell, and also the turret for G2 is rather low on HP here. Corki will get another red buff. So what are we looking for in this game? I want Talia to be centered in mid, and then as long as Samsung doesn't have TP, I want them to match their bot lane into Shen and then play Cho'Gath into top lane. It's going to be slightly ineffective, right? Because right now Samsung want to play into top lane, right? They want to play into top lane. I think it's a bit too early for G2 to just force Nashor straight up, right? I don't think they can just, yeah, Varus is bottom, we can force Nash. I don't think that's going to be the case. And as long as they match the Shen with Varus, they can keep him pushed in, and the TP advantage is not going to matter that much. Then the moment Cho'Gath gets his TP back up, they want to match him in bot lane and then send Varus, Taric into top. Right now, G2 have this timing where they're playing for an objective that is closer to home. They want to take this outer tower, and they want to just push top, get this outer tower, punish the fact that they have Varus on both sides and Shen can support this, and then through that also at the same time defend mid. So that is what we need to look for both teams. Varus running down bottom. I think at this point Varus could even 1v1 potentially the Shen. Like not straight up 1v1, but he poke him a bit and then like like slowly chip him down, you know. Shen would have to like legit like taunt him and commit very hard for it to be effective. Right now, like Ivan is reaching some massive spikes as well. He has Redemption and Ardent Sensor, which is going to be huge, and we will have to pay attention to that. You know, G2 are slowly approaching like breaking point for both AD and the Corki. You know, 3 items is where we want to be. Alistair getting caught up here is something that matters. Samsung need to recognize that they want to start playing around the Baron, because this is kind of the main strength of their comp, like their mid-game spike and how they play around Nashor. They push in one wave and then they just straight up rush through mid and ignore bottom. Playing 1-4 is completely fine as well against Shen, because Shen is going to try to split push and use the fact that the enemy team doesn't have TP. But Samsung is using their tempo from bottom for great things here. They got the mid tower and Alistair got chunked. Maybe in a case where Alistair didn't get chunked, they could have defended a bit longer, but the tower was very low down bottom. Samsung is very well using their pressure here to get a lot of things. And I think in a situation where, you know, G2 right here, let's take a step back. We were talking about how they can actually use their pressure. Zaya base a bit later than most. Alice is around mid lane all alone. Maybe this is where the mistake lies. In a case where they are 3 in mid lane here, then they could potentially get priority because they have Shen ult. They are 4. Samsung are 4 in mid lane. Then Cho'Gath would get priority top lane. Then it would be a problem because he would, like, Cho'Gath would beat Zaya in pushing the wave right now. It's a tough situation. Is it just because they don't have priority because Shen is the problem right here, that G2 are just second on the map. They are basing right now, and Samsung are already out and active. They are basing late and they're behind on tempo, and they are the ones that need to make the defensive play. So right now the play for G2 is to go through mid lane here, take priority in mid, and then after that, you know, they will outnumber here for sure, step into topside river and then create a situation. But then again, Samsung already grouping as 5. They are playing this very well. Like, I am sincerely impressed, you know, that they can make a snap decision like this. They're using the tempo that Varus has to push the wave and then completely ignore it and play around the fact that G2 have the Shen TP advantage by just grouping as 4-1, not losing too much because Varus actually pushes 2 waves here, and they have a lot of time to work with here, right? The next wave that is coming in hasn't even spawned yet. This is the one spawning now. So they have like a 1 minute window to work with, and that is enough for Cho'Gath to get his TP back up and base and start walking into bottom, and then pressure in a game style like that. Question is then if the mistake was earlier when Sven based, if they should have just continued here to pressure and actually use this wave to get something. But I'm sure Ivan is saying, I have redemption now, I want to base, I want to do things. Okay, so the play here is G2 need to do the defensive play. They need to play through mid here. Need to group up. Pretty bad that Alice gets poked and chunked and smashed, and necessarily maybe doesn't even need to use ultimate. Maybe that is also a mistake. Imagine a situation now where G2 was 4 in mid and they were contesting this, and Shen has ultimate and Cho'Gath couldn't support. Then I think that we would have a scenario where they would actually get priority here, and then they could be the ones stepping into top side. They could even force Samsung off, and then they could play into top and wait for Shen to gain pressure again, right? And then when Shen starts to hit bottom tower, they are in a good situation. They don't need to rush anything. They just need to keep defending this mid tower, keep it alive. All right. Okay. Samsung now with a 4,000 gold lead. 4,000 gold lead. It's looking quite bright, you know, for them at this point in time. They need to be the ones forcing the Nashor. Cho'Gath now has TP to match the Shen. Varus can now pressure up top side. Corki is getting stronger and stronger though, and I feel like if this game goes on for another like 5 minutes without the Nashor dying, then G2 are definitely the stronger team. But right now, Samsung, they are spiking at this point in time. This is where their comp is the strongest, for sure. Let's fast forward a bit. Kuwait is going to have priority onto the Shen, I believe. Talia can just stay in mid lane. Like, she could stay in mid lane, and then Samsung could just play through top with Varus. They can also keep the Varus in top. I think G2 need to start playing together and clearing waves together, so they get priority somewhere. Corki has TP, right, so he can join fights, but usually like a Corki TP isn't as powerful as other TPs, like it's not necessarily, excuse me, it's not necessarily like some super TP that you engage with. Oh no, Mythi, what happened here, man? Bad combo, but it wouldn't matter. Like Gragas was only in range to get hit by Ivan, so it wasn't too exciting. Smite from Ambition. Samsung are doing a great job choking them out. I want to analyze this a bit further, how Samsung is playing this out. I want to take a step back. I want to learn some things here from Samsung. Let's take a look. Talia up top. Is the problem here that Corki is forced to take the safe passage? Like, it's hard for them to just force a mid, right? Talia can join fights rather fast. So maybe this is the thought process. Corki is taking the long path, because Varus is pretty much clearing the wave here for free. Well, not for free, but he's taking the wave, no fear. Cho'Gath has priority from bottom though, so he pressures into mid, and they're playing around that fact. Talia can always join the battle, and the enemy team doesn't know where Gragas is. So this is the information that they're playing with. Talia gets to clear the wave top. Corki needs to catch, and then Samsung are once again taking the aggressive path into mid lane. Question is then if the play here is to step into like the Baron area as 4, like pretty much try to group up with Corki and then go into mid wave and clear it. But I think the main thing that they're playing around is like Cho'Gath is already present and there. Let's take a step forward. Samsung playing the heavy control game, taking charge of the enemy jungle. Loving what I see here. They're not afraid to step in. There's not much to be afraid of in the first place, right? I think this was the time where Ambition gets comboed, fail comboed by Mythi. Like even though he gets comboed here, like what would have happened? Like nothing would have happened, nothing at all. Blue gets taken away. Pink wards get cleared away. It's all about pressuring that Nashor for Samsung right now. Pressuring this side of the jungle, this blue side jungle, making sure that G2 doesn't have vision, force him to face check Mythi. Out in the bow, Ambition, pretty deep, has to flash. We can get a good route here. Taric ultimate will save them all, I think. TP comes in, Cho'Gath is in the mix. Cho'Gath is in the mix. Oh, Ivan gets one-shotted, man. It's the Varus ultimate that connects. Very good Varus ultimate from here. Like right now, they should have been happy with what happened. They're first forcing Cho'Gath TP, and I feel like G2 just overextended here. Overextended. Cho'Gath is already TPing right now. Be happy, Right now the situation is perfect. Cho'Gath will have no TP. If he finishes chanting this, if he cancels, then he will have it in time, right? But we had a good situation here. Varus ultimate comes out huge, massive Varus ultimate, and I feel like G2 just overcommitted here. Ooh, I want to take a look at this again. This was exciting, man. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Alright, Ambition walks in. gets comboed. Mithy gets comboed. Reverse combos. Shen ultimate. Tarek ultimate goes down. Flash of Gragas was burnt. Varus ultimate comes in and just swoops everyone. Holy moly. Where are you running, Expect? Expect just ran in the wrong direction. Expect legit suicided. Expect suicided and G2 overcommitted to get countered by that Varus ultimate or counter engaged on by the Varus ultimate, and that made it quite rough. But all in all, Expect didn't need to die, and Samsung at this point do have the stronger composition, right? That's why it's so risky to play something like G2 is, where they are just focusing on scaling. And I feel like this has been a trend for G2 when it comes to like international tournaments. They try to play these scaling compositions and they are not willing to take those risks. And I think maybe that's necessary sometimes, because Trick and Expect aren't necessarily the players that are known to take big risks, and usually those are the roles where those type of plays come from. But I'm talking about risks, and Samsung, their composition isn't really risky, right? It's not like they fall off super hard, and they are just they just have pushing lanes, right? They just have drafted pushing lanes, and at this point in the game, they are just spiking hard for Baron, and I feel like that's been the meta game for a very long time. Play around the fact that Nash spawns at 20 minutes, play a composition that is very strong around this time, secure yourself the first Nasher, and then eventually secure yourself the first game. I don't know if you picked that up, because I turned around because I saw something in my window. We have a storm outside right now, so it is a bit spooky. Hearing the voice of the wind tickling my ear all the time right now. Baron. It's hard for me to imagine now that G2 will come back from this, because, you know, Baron should in most cases mean the game. Samsung have the tools now to play a clean 1-3-1, you know, but Shen is pushing up top alone because he has the TP advantage. They should be able to break the base, no problem here. Combo becomes a bit huge, almost hits Ruler. I think that was the target that you had to hit. True damage doesn't work. You know, true damage works through Alistar ultimate, so of course he's gonna die there. Corki gets chain CC'd. Loving the Tarek, loving the chain CC. It works out very, very well in needs here. And that looks like it's game. Looks like it's game. We have 2 minions here. Choga can just tank it up, and the turrets will take less damage because of that 1 minion that is walking through. And Samsung, whoa. Samsung. Played very, very clean. Love the draft, you know. Loving the Varus. G2 on the other hand, I feel like they're playing in a way that works against worse teams, but this is never a way how you will beat Koreans. I think the early game was fine, where Trick could have gotten the kill on Choga, and they got Shen a bit ahead. I was a bit disappointed with how they used the package, and Shen didn't necessarily need to ult bottom for them to force the way they did. I think Perks played very well in mid lane. I think he had some good trades against Crown. Crown didn't manage to get any insane ultimates off, and Perks played very conservative with his TP, and I think that was what held Crown back from doing a lot of pressure plays with his ultimate. I felt like maybe Ivan and Corki could have cooperated a bit earlier on together to make it easier for Corki in those trades and kind of push him ahead. And I also felt like the G2's bot lane did some good trades in bot lane. But eventually, you know, the breaking point was that fight at Rift Herald. The fight at Rift Herald was where G2 kind of overcommitted. They went 3-4-4, and they also lost the first tower of this. So this gave Samsung a massive advantage, and on top of this, they forced the Corki to burn his TP, and Talia had to Talia got a heavy chunk off of the mid lane tower, right? That came into play eventually, where you remember the scenario where Choga didn't have TP around 20 minute mark, and G2 were behind on tempo and needed to do the defensive play through mid and get priority through mid and then play into top. but instead they went straight top. Alistair got caught. They lost the mid lane tower, which matters a lot. You know, this matters a lot. And Samsung reached the breaking point where their composition was very, very strong, and G2 needed to play very conservative and be happy with the small engagements that turn in their favor. And then eventually they overcommitted and got slaughtered by a Varus ultimate. Expect didn't need to die in that situation, needed the trick, and they could have just disengaged and been happy. Samsung played their composition very, very clean. I think this comp right here, I'm loving what I see. I think this fits the meta very, very well, and I think G2's composition is something that works against worse teams, but the Korean teams, the reason when Shin was OP in Europe or OP in North America and why it wasn't played in Korea is because most of the teams over there know how to play around it. They know how to play around it very, very well, very, very easily, no problem, no stress. And I think this came with a lot of question marks and risks. And when you give these question marks with competition like G2, will the enemy team pressure you enough early? Will the enemy team pressure you enough in mid game? If you have all these question marks against Korean teams, usually they will punish you and choke you and make sure that you don't even get to ask the second question. And in this time around, you know, G2 had a decent early game, and eventually I felt like they got choked out big time. I think that settles us pretty good. I'll see you guys next time, or next time, it's already next game. Game 3 is coming up. I don't remember which one it is, but stay cool, stay frosty. I'll see you guys soon.